From the suburb of Broadmeadows in Melbourne to the runways of Paris, 19-year-old Andre Pajic is really pushing the boundaries of gender in fashion. His striking, androgynous look has captured the imagination of designers like Paul Smith and Jean-Paul Gaultier. Art Nation caught up with him recently when he came back to Australia.
The impact that Andre has had on fashion, I mean, it's really like a bomb going off in fashion.
The way I look at it is not that he's part of a trend, but that he's actually inspired and created something entirely new.
I think he's an incredible role model and an incredibly strong person, and he's, for me, changing history.
Kind of like just really gently rest your head on top of it.
There's nothing camp about him. He's just a beautiful person. It's not a sexuality issue. It's nothing about that. It's about this beautiful person that embraces being a man and embraces this feminine side.
Oh, that's beautiful. I reckon we got that. Got it. Yeah, next. Yeah, Shane?
Yeah. The fashion model is always looking for the next big thing, and usually in modelling terms, that's a girl with a distinctive look, a very sort of, different look to what came before. And in Andre's case, obviously he's a guy. I mean, he first emerged internationally at the men's shows, and everyone was asking, who's the blonde girl on the runway?
Why do you think you've had such an impact?
That's I think a hard question to answer. I guess a lot of it's to do with the way I look and the way fashion has perceived me and accepted me. And timing, yeah, of course. It's all about the period of history that you're in.
The interesting thing about Andre is it's not a guy in drag. You look at it and it just looks really natural. For some strange reason, it looks really natural to see this gorgeous guy dressed as a girl.
And are you equally comfortable, modelling women's and men's clothing?
Yeah, for sure. And that's another thing. I mean, I've been doing that since I was a kid. I remember I was really young. I used to put on my mum's things, and so for me, it's natural.
Andre came to Australia as a refugee from war-torn Bosnia, escaped when I think they spent 2 years in neighbouring Serbia, came to Australia as refugees, left everything behind.
He's a Broadmeadows boy, and a few years ago he was discovered by Chadwick models here in Melbourne, and he was sort of instantly, everyone knew that Chadwick were onto something special in finding this guy.
Would you imagine when you were a teenager in Broadmeadows being in the position you are now? Did you want to be a model?
No, this was something quite spontaneous that happened and unplanned, and yeah, no, it's been a wonderful experience, but obviously very unexpected.
He may have been modelling for about sort of 18 months to 2 years quietly in Australia, but from the minute he set forward on those runways in Europe, I mean, everyone's been talking about him. as far as I'm aware, there had never been a man in women's haute couture until January, until Jean-Paul Gaultier put him in, the bride's dress at the end of his show. He really is a trailblazer. In terms of femininity in men's fashion has sort of come and gone since the French Revolution. Men used to be the peacocks. I mean, they did. Right up until the French Revolution, men wore incredibly extravagant clothes. I mean, wigs, brocades, fantastic shoes. And then again in the 70s with the glam rock. I mean, hello, have a look at what Kiss wore or David Bowie wore. I mean, they were, they really were sort of gender benders. So it's not the first time at all, and it's just I think Andre really is kind of he's just defining it for a new era.
Androgyny, covers everything from transsexual to drag queens to intersex people. So I think I'm pretty comfortable with that label. It's what I am physically and emotionally, so yeah.
He is a sort of fantasy figure in a way, in that he refuses to be defined by gender, and why should anyone be? Waiting to